यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपियन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजनंदन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव माधव राधे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे जय राधा राष्ट्रहरि राधा राष्ट्रहरि राधे जय भगवती धन्योरीश्वर गौरांगी धन्योरीश्वर गौरांगी जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय 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 गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शतम। His Divine Grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। ISKCON Seshadripuram PBT Sanstapakacharya, Savior of the whole universe, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shatam. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Hardas Thakur ki jai. जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सद्गुरु गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जय श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, द्वारिका धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, कावेरी माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मूकं करोति वाचालं मङ्गुलङ्गायतिं ह्रीं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees to this morning session on Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we're going to be discussing from Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the text number, Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter. And the 11th chapter is titled as Swayambhuva Manu's advice to Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. And the verse number that we're going to discuss is 28 and 29. Okay, there we are. I hope it's visible to the devotees. Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, you can say.
Thank you for that confirmation, Prabhu. Ya panchavarshno gnaninam tvam vihaya atu sapatanya vichasabhinna marmam vanam gatastapas tapas pratyag aksham aradyalebhe muradhi padam trilokaya. Ya panchavarsho gnaninam tvam vihaya matu spatanya vichasabhinna marma vanam gatastapasya pratyagya aksham आराध्य मुरधि पदम त्रिलोकय। य पंचवर्षो ज्ञानिनां त्वं विहाय मातुस्पतन्य वचसभिन्न मर्मा वानं गतस्तपस्पृतज्ञ अक्षम् आराध्य लाभे मृधिनि पदम त्रिलोकय। Word translation. Ya, one who Panchavarsha, 5 years old. Gnanim, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Jananim, mother. Tvam, you. Vihaya, leaving aside. Matu, of the mother. Sapatanyam, of the co-wife. Vachasa, by the words. Vinnamarma, aggrieved at heart. Vanam, to the forest. Gata, went. Tapasa, by austerity. Pratyak Aksham, the Supreme Lord. Aradhya, worshipping, worshipping, labhe, achieved. Rudni, on top. Padam, the position. Trilokaya, of the three worlds. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously affected by the words of your mother's co-wife, and you very boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process of realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Manu was very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendants of his family because at the age of only 5 years, Dhruva began meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty or the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendants of Manu. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj the glory of the family of Swambhuva Manu, but he is the glory of the entire human society because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead. He was specially requested not to do anything unbenefiting a surrendered soul. Let's also continue our conversation or read the shloka number 29. Tamenam agatami mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunam eka aksharam atmanam anvicha vimukta atmadre yasmin idam bhedam asat prati yate tam enam agatmani mukta vigrahe Vyaparishtam nirgunam ekam aksharam Atmanam anvicha vimuktam atmadre Yasmin idam bhedam asat pratiyate Tam enam agatmani mukta vigrahe Vyapashritam nirgunam eka aksharam Atmanam anvicha vimukta atmadre Yasmin idam bhedam asat pratiyate. Word to word translation. Tam, him. Enam, that. Anga, my dear Dhruva. Atmani, in the mind. Mukta vigrahe, free from anger. Vyapa, shritam, situated. Nirgunam, transcendental. Ekam, one. Aksaram, the infallible Brahman. Atmanam, the self. Anvicha, try to find out. Vimoktam, uncontaminated. Atmadrik, facing towards the super soul. Yasmin, in which. Idam, this. Bhedam, differentiation. Asat, unreal. Pratiyate, appears to be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Therefore, my dear Dhruva, please turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus, by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. Purport. The living entities have three kinds of vision according to their position in self-realization. According to the bodily concept of life, one sees differentiation in terms of varieties of body. The living entity actually passes through many varieties of material forms. But despite all such changes of the body, he is eternal. When living entities therefore are viewed in the bodily concept of life, one appears to be different from another. Lord Manu wanted to change the vision of Dhruva Maharaj, who was looking upon the yakshas as different from him or his enemies. Actually, no one is an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma. But as soon as one is situated in the spiritual identity, he does not see differentiation in terms of this law. In other words, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Pasannatma na sochati na kanshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. A devotee who is already liberated does not see different. Sorry. A devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of outward body. He sees all living entities as spirit souls, eternal servants of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see that vision. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon other living entities with ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu pointed out to Dhruva Maharaj that out of material affliction, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin and the Yakshas as his enemies. Such observations of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in this original position as the eternal servant of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam. The canto is titled The Creation of the Fourth Order. Chapter 11, chapter titled Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. The text number that we are discussing today, they said, is 28 and 29. Om Tat Tat Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नामस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Wonderful continuation, and we heard devotee speaking about this yesterday also, and we've been continuing this chapter for some time now. As we all know, we are on the 28th verse today, and 28th and 29th verse. So with this continuation, the background is like this. The Yakshas, while Dhruva Maharaj's brother, Uttama, was in the forest, he was hunting, and then he was attacked and killed by the Yaksha. And it is not Yakshas, it is Yaksha. So this is one point that we have to really understand. This is where Swayambhu Manu also describes what was happening around. So one particular Yaksha kills Uttama, brother of Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj, as natural for any human being, and especially a Kshatriya, feels a little more offended being a Kshatriya, saying that how can somebody how can somebody kill my brother? Sorry. So as a Kshatriya, he decided saying that he will take a revenge. And he starts killing Yakshas mercilessly. He did not kill Yaksha, he started killing Yakshas. So more than one Yaksha. He not only killed the Yaksha who had killed his brother, but started mercilessly killing them without any reason. Manu Maharaj says it was one Yaksha who killed your brother. And why are you killing the whole community of Yakshas, which is not correct? Here the question also comes that being a Kshatriya, he could have argued saying that I have to take care of my praja. Being a king, I have to take care of my immediate family members. I have to take care of my immediate and extended family members. And there's no way that I'm... Just give me 1 minute, please. Sorry about that interruption. So he could have argued saying that no, it's a duty of a Kshatriya to take revenge. It is a duty of a Kshatriya to prevent his kingdom from being attacked. It is the duty of the Kshatriya to prevent his own family members and his praja from the enemies. But Dhruv Maharaj heard the instructions of his grandfather, Swayambhu Manu, who's here in the purport also Srila Prabhupada talks about, we are all descendants of Manu Maharaj. The whole Manushya Yoni, in that sense, if you see on the earth, is descendants of Manu Maharaj. And he was the grandfather of Dhruva Maharaj. And he says, no, I think you should stop. Not I think, you have to stop. And Dhruva Maharaj listens to his grandfather, understands it very well, takes it very close to his heart and says, yes, I think what I have been doing is not correct and I should correct myself and stop the fight. So he stops the fight, and then there are series of instructions that follow on to Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj very attentively listens to them, takes it to his heart and implements them. So in today's conversation that we are having, you will see that Srila Prabhupada is driving home a point that not that Dhruva was very proud of his grandfather or his lineage. Even his grandfather, Manu Maharaj, was very proud of Dhruva Maharaj because he was his descendant in the family. And at a very young age of 5 years, he started meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And why did he do so? That is because of the insult that his mother, in the sense of a stepmother, did to him. We all know the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj being insulted by his stepmother, saying that, if you were to sit on the lap of your father, then you should have taken birth from my womb. And Suniti, not able to do anything, she also consoles our Dhruva Maharaj and says, I aim for something big. Yeah, this is also practically seen in our life. We always have some setbacks and we always think that we should aim big. In our spiritual life also, many times we have setbacks, and not able to read as per the requirements, not able to chant our rounds as per the requirements, not able to chant our rounds qualitatively, not able to read qualitatively, not able to do some yatras, not able to take association, not able to visit to temples. Many times we have many challenges in our life. But then as a devotee, we should always take it as a challenge, saying that today I have been low, but then because of the mercy of the Lord, I will bounce back tomorrow. So here Dhruva Maharaj says that I want to really make something big. I want to be on top of the world. That is how we call in this language of the Zenzi. I want to be on top of the world. So Dhruva Maharaj also wanted to be on top of the world. He says, I want a bigger kingdom than that of my father, Uttanapada. And he worships. And within 6 months, a very short period of 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Personality of God face to face. To think of the bhakti that Dhruva Maharaj could have to see the Lord face to face. There are many people, forget many people, I'm talking about myself. For so many years, even despite not practicing properly, yes, practicing Krishna consciousness, but then Are you really having that desire to see the Lord face to face? Do you have that quality to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face? Do we have the instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly? No. But here, the small young boy of 5 years sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face because he was meditating on the Lord. And within 6 months, we've all been talking about it for a very long time. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. But is our sadhana, is our association, is our hearing, is our reading all that powerful that we will be able to go back home, back to Godhead? It's a question for all of us to ponder and answer ourselves. Yeah. We don't look at the answer in the public, but then we have to all look at this point within ourselves saying that, am I so strong? Or is it just that one of those things that I do in my daily routine, I'm doing by chanting 16 rounds? One of those routine things that I do, I'm reading my Srimad Bhagavatam. Just because I've been asked to read Srimad Bhagavatam, one shloka every day, I open, read. Whether I understand, assimilate, realize, no, I'm reading one shloka and closing Srimad Bhagavatam and going. Am I associating with devotees when I go to the temple? Yes, it's a formality. Saying that, yes, I have been asked to come to the temple because when I take the different steps of bhakti, there is one step commitment saying that I will dedicate myself to the temple on Sundays and on other festival days. Yeah. So because I have signed that, as a gentleman, I go to the temple every Sunday or every festival that is being celebrated. But when I go to the temple on Sundays, when I go to the temple on the festival days, am I really getting that association? Am I talking about how do I spread the holy name of the Lord? Because Lord Chaitanya has asked me to do so. Lord Chaitanya said, Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Amar agya hoy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, wherever you see, whomever you see, give them Krishna upadesh. Give them the holy name of the Lord. Am I doing so? Or while I'm in the temple, I'm doing some kutniti, or am I doing some gramya katha? So these are some personal things that we need to ponder. Am I really taking the association that I'm supposed to be taking? Or am I only looking at my personal glorification? So one needs to look internally with those instructions which I have received. Am I following it correctly? And more so, if I'm not following it, how do I correct it? And if I have to correct it, do I do it myself or do I need some help? There are devotees who can help me. Senior Vaishnavas are there, where you can actually open out your heart and speak to them. This is one of the things which is also listed in the Nectar of Devotion, where you should go and open your heart with another devotees. There are many things that we don't have an answer, and the small, tiny little brain that we have may not be able to decide on what needs to be done. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada has given us so many Vaishnavas. We have our own Guru. Then there are senior devotees where we can go and speak about what is there in our heart which is troubling us, what is there in our heart which is bothering us, and seek the clarification. Srila Prabhupada also said that all the questions that you may have, the answers are there in my books which I have written. I was hearing this very nice devotee who was giving Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam class. And he says that whenever I've had a problem or whenever I've had a question, I just open Bhagavad Gita on whatever page, not necessarily a particular shloka or anything that comes to mind. It just says I open it, and then when I read it and understand it, I get an answer to the question that I've had. So Srila Prabhupada said, whatever questions you may have, I've given you all the answers in form of my books. Yeah, some of us may not be so good at reading and understanding. Then there are devotees who are available to us. You can go and open your heart and speak to them and find out what can I be doing or what is the decision that I may be taking. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Chaitanya Maharaj, He openly says that, if you have any questions, write to me. And now he's made a kind of a structure, because having achieved the orders of his spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, of making 50,000 disciples, now it may be sometimes very difficult for him to execute the orders directly, or execute or get connected with every devotee. Though he tries his best, all the Maharajs give enough and more time to their disciples. I've heard that some of our senior sannyasis have kind of kept aside certain time just to answer questions by their disciples or the devotees. There are certain Maharajs, when they come to Mayapur, Sri Dham Mayapur or Vrindavan, when they are there, they give that time, or wherever they are, whatever temple that they're connected, or whatever yatra they are connected, or in whichever temple they are visiting, they keep certain time for themselves, for giving association to the devotees and understanding from them if they have any questions and clarifying them. Likewise, I remember His Grace Sankarshan Das Adhikari, Guru Maharaj of one of our dear, devotee. He told me that, you write a question to my Guru Maharaj. Night you write a question, and morning the answer is there in your inbox. That's the kind of dedications that some of these Vaishnavas have, saying that I have to take care of the disciples, I have to take care of the devotees. So you get an answer instantly, and the answer is based on the Shastras. So coming back to the point, we can take advice from the Shastras by reading it directly, or we can take advice from senior Vaishnavas by associating with them. So in this particular verse, both the verses that we are discussing, he says Manu Maharaj was very happy that his own grandson Dhruv Maharaj began meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was able to see the Lord face to face, and within 6 months that he was there. And because we all come from the same descendants, so Manu Maharaj was the I would say the father of that tree, the top of that tree, who comes, and the Sanskrit word for human being is Manushya, which means descendants of Manu. Not only Dhruv Maharaj, it is the glory of the whole Swayambhu Manu, but it is the glory of the entire human society. And Dhruv Maharaj had already surrendered to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was specially requested not to do anything unbenefiting a surrendered soul. So coming back to the conversation where we had left, he was killing all the yakshas, and it was advised that he should not be killing the yakshas, because not that all of them are sinful, or not all of them are responsible for the death of his brother. So taking these instructions from his grandfather Swayambhu Manu, Dhruv Maharaj stops fighting. And then in the next shloka that we read, Swayambhu Manu says that please turn your attention to the Supreme Personal, who is infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by realizing, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. So here, Swayambhu Manu is explaining about the difference between a friend and an enemy. Many times we take as a friend, and then over a period of time he becomes our enemy. But initially you think that he is my enemy, and he becomes your friend. So these are only changes that happen in our own thought process. It is only flickering, it keeps changing. The living entity in this particular shloka, Srila Prabhupada is quoting, and Swayambhu Manu is talking about it, saying that the living entities have three kinds of vision, and according to their position of self-realization or position in self-realization, they define the differences. It is also said for a self-realized person, there is absolutely no difference between a Brahmana, a meat eater, or a sannyasi, or a cow, or a pig. So he doesn't see, he just sees in every body a small atom, which is called the Atma. And he doesn't differentiate whether it is a lady, it is a Brahmana, it is a Kshatriya, or a meat eater. No, there's absolutely no difference that he really takes. The living entity actually passes through many varieties of material forms. But despite his being a horse or an elephant or a lizard, he is still eternal. The living entity is still eternal. Eternal. It's just the outer covering that we get for some time. And then over a period of time, you leave that outer covering and move to another body depending on our karmas. Or go back home, back to Godhead, where you have full of happiness and bliss. So he should go beyond, or well, this is a direct instructions to us, not that Dhruv Maharaj did not know all this. Dhruv Maharaj just became a via media so that we could hear these instructions and follow it. So Dhruv Maharaj was just becoming a transparent media who's just taking the instructions from Swayambhu Manu and passing it on to us. And that's why the Shastra, you'll see many times this comes to your mind, saying that Dhruva could see Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Vishnu, face to face at the age of 5. And that also in a very short duration. How's that, he did not have this mindfulness? Well, this is something to be meant for us. He's a great Vaishnava. He's a great devotee of the Lord. I don't think he should just fall or fumble for small things like this. But it is for us to take instructions. That is where he goes on doing certain activities or performing certain pastimes where we could learn. And there could be an instruction from another personality or a direct instructions to us. So here, Swayambhu Manu is giving that instructions to Dhruv Maharaj. It's actually meant for us. It's not meant for Dhruv Maharaj. Self-realized soul, there's absolutely nothing required for him. And he says, when living entities, therefore, are viewed in the bodily concept of life, one appears to be different from another one. Yeah, he's black, he's white, he's Indian, he's American, he's African. No, that's not the way. That's the only bodily concept of life. Well, this is not an easy thing that we will understand or we will be able to implement. Even for me, it's not easy. But practice makes a man perfect. Over a period of time, start seeing that everybody is a soul. Don't differentiate. The next time you have, some kind of a discussion or argument with somebody else, or you have a very jolly or jovial conversation with another devotee, keep them on the same platform. They are both part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's only because of the vision, according to our self-realization, that we are making a differentiation between one devotee who's aggressive, who's into conversation, who's into argument, and another devotee who has been very cordial, very dear to us. No. If you look at it from the vision, then there is absolutely no difference between a devotee who's arguing with you or a devotee who's having conversation or, such kind of conversations which you may like or may not like. So here Manu Maharaj is very clearly telling Dhruva or Dhruva Maharaj as to that you are looking at the yakshas as a different from him or as his enemies. Actually, there is no one who's an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma. But as soon as one is situated in a spiritual identity, he does not see any differentiation in terms of law. It is also very nicely quoted in Bhagavad Gita 18.54 shloka, which is also mentioned in the purport here by Sri Prabhupada. It talks about Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati, na kanshati. It says a devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of outwardly body. He sees all living entities as spirit souls, eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Dhruv Maharaj here was advised by Manu Maharaj to see with that vision. There is no differentiation. And it's a direct instructions to us saying that we should never distinguish between any living entity or any different devotee. He is his disciple, he is his disciple, he is my Guru Maharaj disciple. No, they're all great devotees. It's not easy to get a devotee into Krishna consciousness. It's not easy for somebody to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra over a period of time or over and over again. So we should ensure that our relationship with every devotee has to be seen on an equal platform. You should not see that he's the management guy, so I have to do this. He's in the kitchen seva, so I have to behave with him this way. He is in the queue seva, so I have to behave with him in this way. No. Everybody is equal and everybody is important. and especially for devotees to progress in their spiritual life, it is important to treat everybody in the same platform and take association of them. Here the instruction may be indirectly to Dhruva Maharaj, or it is indirectly through Dhruva Maharaj that we are getting. That because the material affliction, Dhruva Maharaj thought that his brother as his own. There's nobody who's own. We don't know the current father in this lifetime. Who was he in the last lifetime? The current wife in this lifetime, we don't know who she was. The current children in this lifetime, we don't know where they were in the last lifetime. So it is also not right on our part to think that he is my brother, he is my sister, he is my wife, he is my husband. Well, I'm not saying that you should fight with everybody. You should maintain the same kind of thinking that even despite her being my wife, she's a Atma. Despite this being my friend, he is also Atma. And despite being a devotee working in the kitchen or devotee working in the altar, they're all Atmas. And we have to see them on the platform, on the same platform. There is nobody called friend, there is nobody called enemies. It is only our eyes which see it. And this can happen very easily in the last one line that Sri Prabhupada sums it up, saying that such observations of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in his original position as the eternal servant of the Lord. The problem with us is today, we don't accept that we are the eternal servant of the Lord. We accept, I am the boss of so-and-so company, I am the boss of this so-and-so house, I am the boss of this community. So the moment one realizes what is my original position, which is the eternal servant of the Lord, everything falls to place. You don't have to worry about any such differentiation coming into our thought process. So just before I end the class, I would like to read both the translations for my own benefit and benefit of all of us. In the 28th verse, Manu Maharaj says, "My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife, and you very boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process of realization of Supreme Lord. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds." The translation to 29th verse is, "Therefore, my dear Dhruva, please turn your attention to Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by self-realization, you will find that this material world, material differentiation is merely flickering." So I will, stop the discussion on this from my side here. If there are any questions, I would request devotees to ask. If you have any doubts, please ask. I would also request the many devotees online now, request you to make any comments or any corrections that probably I should have aired somewhere. So please go ahead and I'll be happy to hear them out. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't have any question. You explained it very nicely. And that should be the vision of a Tattvavid. But how to develop? I mean, this keeps. We always differentiate sometimes, so many times. So is it because of our ignorance, or uh, how to overcome that situation? Maybe sometimes we really differentiate.
Prabhu, very nice question and very pertinent to our conversation today. We find all the instructions are very good, but it's difficult to follow the instructions. We say the instructions are good, but following them becomes very difficult for us. Similarly, I would just like to give you an example from the material life so that we can consider it as and then discuss on the spiritual platform as well. There's a person who's obese, 120 kgs. He knows it very well that if he doesn't control his weight, he may have different kinds of disease. It can be heart, lung, it can be kidney, it can be liver, diabetes, hypertension. All that will come to him. But still, till the time that he really gets a slap. Now, slap could be in form of falling ill, going to the hospital, getting admitted, and the doctor telling him, hey, look, you have to stop everything. Do you think that 120 kgs person did not know that he is obese, he is overweight, and he should not be eating, certain things which are not allowed for his body? He was very well aware. But unfortunately, he was not practicing it. Yeah. Now, coming back again to this question on the spiritual platform, we always see that we all have read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. We've heard so many classes. We always say we cannot have differentiation between two entities. We have to see them same. We should all be Samadarshita. We should all be seeing them on the same platform. But because of our level of self-realization, there are three levels of self-realization. Depending on which level we are, we create this differentiation. And you will see that great devotees do not make that differentiation. For them, there is absolutely no difference between a Chandala or a Brahmana or a meat eater or a lady. Yeah. Now, Nityananda Ram or Nityananda Prabhu, while he was preaching in the Nadia zone, the Gurudruma Dweeps, he would go to everybody's house and give them the holy name. He did not differentiate between Jagai Madai and any other Brahmana family where he would give instructions. So that's the quality of a devotee. Yeah. Despite being injured by these two goons, Jagai and Madai, he did not differentiate between them. He still begged at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that, no, please give them bhakti. And eventually they all became great devotees. So our understanding has to be that we have to refine ourselves. We have to bring ourselves to that level of self-realization where we can see everything equally. Yeah. If you compare our life in the previous times when we were not devotees, this is applicable to me particularly, we always had differentiation. Oh, this man is like this, that man is like this lady is like this person is like this uncle is like this, that uncle. But over a period of time, when we are slowly elevating in our consciousness or slowly having that self-realization mode, we start saying that, no, I think he is part and parcel of Krishna. He's a spirit soul. And many times this realization doesn't come on the spot. It comes much later. I can narrate an example of some conversation in management that I had with one of the devotees, and it did not go well with me. So I said, no, I think I should just sever my relationship with this devotee. So then I do not commit any Vaishnava Aparadha. But then over a period of time, I was thinking about it, and then I realized saying, he's also a soul. He can make mistakes. So what? So sometimes it becomes immediate for us to, realize it's okay, don't worry. He's also a spirit soul. See it equally. And sometimes it takes some time for us to realize that's also on our position as to where we are on the self-realization path. So it is not easy, but practice makes us perfect. So we have to keep practicing. Whenever we have this kalmash in our heart saying that this devotee is like that devotee is like that, immediately we have to correct saying that he is part and parcel of Krishna. He is soul. I have to see him on the same platform. I can't differentiate. Everybody is on a similar platform. I hope that answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for clarity.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. If there are any questions, I can answer. Otherwise, if there are no questions, we will close this session here. Thank you very much, everybody joining today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Since there is some time, I mean, this question is bothering me for long, ever since this particular chapter started. So here we say that Dhruv Maharaj took revenge from the Yakshas. He wanted to take revenge of his brother's death, and he was unnecessarily killing the other Yakshas. I mean, how do we answer this? That in Mahabharata also the revenge took place because of the difference of opinion or the differences between only few people, not the other army men who were killed during that war. So,
Yeah.
how do we understand this too?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Again, a question which we keep pondering about it, saying that here Manu Maharaj is coming and telling Dhruv Maharaj, saying that don't kill the others. It was only one Yaksha who was responsible for killing of your brother, and not that every Yaksha is responsible for it. On the contrary, when we see Bhagavad Gita or the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Mahabharata, we see that people who were nowhere connected with it were killed mercilessly. Yeah. Prabhu, very nice question. And this is my understanding. I may stand corrected if there is anything that I have not made statement on this. Is in Bhagavad Gita, it is the fight of dharma. So the reason that people were killed who were not on the sides of the Pandavas, who were not on the sides of dharma. So those who are adharmic, not on the side of dharma, ought to be killed. And this is a job of a Kshatriya, not a job of anybody else. Yeah, a Kshatriya can take because he's authorized to fight and kill adharmis. Krishna himself says, whenever there is disruption in the religion, I will come down. One is I will protect my devotees, and the other one is I will annihilate the demons or the goons. So Krishna had come with that particular purpose. He made the Pandavas as a part of his plan. It's not that Krishna could not kill them, but he made them instruments in his plan, saying that they should go and kill the adharmis there. So this is the understanding that I have, that they were adharmis. They took the side of adharma. They took side of Duryodhana or Kauravas, and that is the reason they were all killed. And ultimately, it is the desire of the Lord, which is very, very important. Here, on the other side, you see, when it comes to the story of Dhruv Maharaj and the Yakshas, not that the Yakshas were adharmis. There was one Yaksha who was adharmi who killed uh, Uttama. But if you look at it that way also, it is more of karma. Yeah, Uttama was destined to be killed by a Yaksha. That's the reason he was killed. But then not the other Yakshas were all adharmis. On the Mahabharata side, they were all adharmis. They ganged up. They formed a part of Kaurava's team. And that is the reason Krishna said, kill them all because they were adharmis. I hope that answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I appreciate all of your time in the morning today. The scheduled time is completed, so I will end the session. And thank you very much for joining us this morning for this wonderful chapters discussion. We've all been hearing from various devotees on this. And sure, yesterday Krishna Kishore Prabhu also spoke about this. Thank you very much. And I thank the temple management for giving me opportunity to speak on the subject today. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.